What is going on, everybody? Brickbuilder here, and welcome to a brand new episode of FTB Horizons 3. Today, we have a lot to do, so we gotta get right into it. But first, there's a lot of catching you guys up to speed I gotta do. So if you guys do enjoy, make sure to like button and subscribe. So, to begin, a few episodes ago, we had a tree farm we built. We re-changed it, me and JSM, since we share a base. Now, we have plant gatherer and a plant gatherer. Those are what we're using instead of the initial designs. These are what we're using as, you know, our dealio. That's our new setup. We had an automatic fishing net over here that was pumping in a diamond chest. Now we have it connected to an enderlink chest, which is basically an ender chest that multiple players can access. That's our blue band. Over here, JSM made some solar panels. So these will work throughout the day, give a ton of power. Then we have this thing over here. This is some void miner googly gook. Basically, it mines a ton of ores and it's super awesome. Also, this sword is brand new, but that's one of the smaller changes. Over here, we now have resourceful furnaces. These will smelt up 3 items instead of 1. And then, over here, new room, over here for JSM's little storage area. Secondly, the chests have all been removed. You'll see why in a second. This area has been redesigned. Down here, we have a ton of new stuff. Machines have been highly upgraded for the most part. We now have a ton of machine stuff going here. The big one JSM worked on is this. This is essentially a machine that will, in the resourceful furnace, when you smelt something, over here you get this fluid. So whenever you smelt, we get 5 millibuckets. We need to get 1,000 millibuckets for something I'm going to show you in just a second. So these basically smelt cobble, and then what happens is the cobble gets returned back. The cobble here gets put back into here, boom, and then now it just makes more cobble, and essentially it's a never-ending cycle of cobblestone, just being smelted over and over again. So there's that. But over here's the big one. I've redesigned the look of the room, but more importantly, over here, we now have this thing. This is called a mob duplicator. Basically, you throw a mob imprisonment tool in there, so we can pick any of the mobs we have. So for instance, if I want to throw witches in there, you can throw a witch in there and see this essence, it gets used and it will spawn witches, which they'll die the same way that the blaze does with the mob crusher. So that's pretty simple. And there's more enderlink setups there as well. Okay, the big one though is this room over here. I re-added this. This is just an empty room with a simple storage network. Look at our simple storage network. It's over here. Essentially, the way this works is, for anybody who wants to get into this, the basic is you build the storage network master here. Pretty basic stuff. Then you're going to make these cables, and you're going to connect your storage request table right here. And then you hook up a ton of these storage link cables to any form of inventory. So we've been using diamond chests, and as you can see, some items are in them. Now, there's also barrels that we have full of stuff. A good demonstration of the barrels would be over here, because you can actually see all the stuff. See, lapis is a barrel, we got stone in a barrel, etc. And then we have this thing over here, an advanced storage remote. This lets me access the storage system from anywhere. Now, as you can see, there's some pretty nuts amount of items in here. I mean, 500k cobblestone, pretty dope. 400k cobblestone, dope. I mean, look at all the crazy amounts of stuff we have. We have so much wool and mutton because we AFK'd the sheep inside of our awesome farm. So basically, we have a ton of different things that have been changed since the last time you guys saw the base. But the big one with the storage system is this is like 1 day of cobble. Like, that's how much we get out of this. And these barrels are going to fill up. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get an upgrade. And the upgrade in particular we want is the infinite capacity upgrade. And as you can see, we need a Nether Star. So guess what? Your boy is going to be fighting a wither. And to do that, first, we're going to grab wither skulls. And we're going to grab soul sand, which we don't have. So I'm going to go get some soul sand from the nether. And then we are going to get started on killing some withers. Alright, so I got the soul sand that we needed from the nether. Now, quickly, over back here, we also have a ton more power. So if you're wondering how the machines are actually being like kept up with power in here, it's because we have all these dynamos. These dynamos take planks and then water. So the water is being pumped with fluid ducts, and then we have the items being used from the tree farm. That's where we get the planks from. So what we got to do now is we got to get over to the actual place we're going to be killing these withers, and then we're going to start killing some. We're going to kill a bunch because we're going to need a lot of nether stars in modded. Like, they're super useful items. So we're going to go ahead and get these things started. Beautiful little area down here to spawn some withers in. So we're going to go ahead and spawn one right here. Boom, boom, boom. Beautiful. There we go. The first wither on the server. We're going to need a lot of nether stars for all different things. For instance, like these tools we have, if we want to get mending on them, we need to have the, we're going to need to have the nether stars. Now, if you look, it's super easy to kill these things. Okay, like look, we already have one. I'll explain how in a second. So see the strength we have over here? We have so many effects from these ability tokens. In addition to that, we also have a sword, which does 17 attack damage. So essentially, we're basically overpowered. So actually getting these nether stars won't be that hard, and eventually automating nether stars is literally a thing we can obtain. So if we're interested in getting a more constant supply of nether stars for things we're going to want, it's definitely doable. But as I said, we're getting these for a multitude of reasons, but the big one is we're trying to get this so we can make the barrels for our unlimited supply of resources, so that way the farms and stuff won't take up regular chests, because like the cobblestone will eventually go into diamond chests, and that won't be good because then we'll have an overflow of cobblestone. So making it an unlimited barrel solves that problem pretty easily, in my opinion. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, another big thing with this is the more of these we have, just the better, truthfully. And the thing with another thing is, if you're wondering how we actually got all these wither skeleton skulls, well, it's so easy because we have a wither skeleton that we can throw into the farm. So it will automatically harvest these for us, which is why we have, if you see skull, why we have another like 100 skulls on us right now. You know what I mean? Without actually like having to kill them ourselves. So it's just such an easy cycle of doing stuff like that. But I caught you guys up to speed pretty quickly. We're going to try to grab, I want to say, like a few more of these, as you can see. Also, let me just scoop that diamond up. Don't mind if I do. But I'm going to go ahead and grab one more, and then this should be enough for now. If we ever need more, we can come back down here. This is just our mine. It's so easy. Also, Regen 3, so useful. As you can see, we have not taken a heart of damage from this yet. So we are basically the Wither Slayer, no problem. Boom, we have 5 of those now. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go to our home. So we're going to go back to our base. Now, what we need is pretty basic right now. So what we're going to do is we need barrel. First, we're going to make some actual barrel parts here. So we're going to take slabs, go like that. And then we're going to take iron bars, and we're going to go like this. We're going to need these to actually make different upgrades. So we're going to go ahead and make that. We're going to make 2 of those. Boom. So, well, 32 total. So the first upgrade we're going to need to make is we are going to need to make 8 stone upgrades. So those are pretty easy. It's just with cobblestone along the edges, which is very basic to do, no problem. And then we're going to need 8 iron ones, which again isn't that bad. As you can see, we have a fair chunk of iron. And then realistically, I can just use this like that. And boom, keep going. Beautiful. And then we're going to need 8 of the gold upgrade, which now we have a lot of gold. We were having gold problems before, but it's been solved since we put pigment into the auto spawner thingy-mabob. Then upgrade, the next upgrade we're going to need is the diamond upgrade, which slightly cheaper, which, you know, is a good thing because they are fairly expensive. If it was 4 diamonds per, that'd be a little bit more expensive. Now, upgrade. I'm going to take these, and we're going to take one of the nether stars we have. We're going to go like this and surround it. Beautiful. But now we're also going to make a few more barrels. And the reason I say that is because I'm going to make the barrels instead of just using ones we currently have. So you can see how you actually hook something up to the system. So we got the 8 of those. And then you need these cables right here. You need these storage link cables. So they're relatively basic to make, as you can see. It's just this and that. So it's really not that complicated having this system. The most expensive thing is the diamond chest, and they're really not that bad once we have the auto miner that we do. So we're gonna go ahead and throw these down like a so, and like a that. Okay, so upgrades. The upgrades will give more inventory inside the barrels. So like if we see these barrels here cap out at 16k, right now these are gonna keep going till they're infinite. So we're going to be able to store infinite 8 items, basically. 8 different items we can store an infinite amount of. So we're going to store cobblestone infinitely. We're going to store stone infinitely. We're going to store these infinitely. We're going to store the fish infinitely because we're going to get a lot of those from the the fish farm. So we're going to start with these. So cobblestone goes here. See, cobblestone. Now we have that. Now we have that. Now we have that. We also have a few more spaces. So we're going to go ahead and put some other items in there, like wool, since I'm expecting us to, you know, do a lot of sheep stuff. We're going to put those in there. I'm going to throw gunpowder on one just because we're going to use it. And I mean, you saw how easy it's going to be to get stuff like this. Now, this one might seem a little far-fetched, but I am going to throw the wither skeleton skulls just because of how many of those we're going to actually use throughout. And then we're going to also throw these and these. I think we're going to take these out, actually. I'd rather put the gold nuggets and the blaze rod, since those we're going to have at a much higher frequency. So then we attach these like that. And then we're actually going to need a little bit more of that cable. So let's go ahead and make just a tiny bit here. And go like so. And boom, now it's connected to the system. So that's the first thing we had to do in today's episode. Now we have infinite storage for some pretty big items. So that should hopefully solve a lot of the problems with the storage system eventually filling up. Now, there are some things that are kind of unavoidable. Like if you look at sword, killing pigmen gives a lot of swords. As you can see, there's well over 400 swords here, which, you know, each take up their own space. But thankfully, as you see how big these chests are, it's not as big of a deal. Plus, we can add more chests in the future, or go the refined storage route. For anybody wondering who knows about modded, we went with this system just because it's simple and it doesn't require any power. That's the huge advantage to this thing. It's easily made and there's no power whatsoever. And then, as you can see, we have things importing through Enderlink chests into here. So all the systems are running with here going in. Like, for instance, you can see the mob farm over here. All the drops these drops here go into the, you know, system, which is quite nice, and stuff like that. All the drops go into the system, which is really convenient if you ask me. Alright, so the next thing I want to do with Nether Stars, since today's episode is all about Nether Stars, basically. Over here, I have this pickaxe, which I like to use a lot. It's a pickaxe that I use a lot, and I've been having to repair it a ton. But if I go over here, there's this mending enchant token. It's pretty easy to make. You need one of these, which we have a bunch of. You need black diamonds, and you need a nether star. The nether star is the hard part, but not anymore. We now have it. I'm going to make 2 of these. We're going to throw one on our sword. We're going to throw one on here. Now, although our armor isn't the best armor, we might throw it on here at some point, but I know these tools are going to change, so I'm not 100% sure of what I'm going to do in that department. Okay, so for the auto-spawning mob farm, basically you have to throw a mob into a mob imprisonment, and then from there you can actually put it into the spawner. So there's a few mobs we don't have that I'd like to get, which is what we're going to quickly go ahead and scour the world for now. A big one that we don't have that I would like is a cow. That would be highly useful for leather, steak, etc. Food isn't really a problem, as you can tell from how much food we have in the system. You know, if the 4K fish or the 14K mutton didn't give it away, food is not something we're really worried about. Now, we're going to get a pig just because we don't have a pig. Not that a pig is an overly useful mob to have, but in my opinion, having every mob would be ideal. So now we have a pig. Okay, beautiful. Next, we still need to have a few things. Like, for instance, we're not going to get a zombie. We're not going to grab a zombie because why would we need a zombie? There's no advantage to having a zombie because we can get all those drops from pigmen, but then we also get the added benefit of the gold, which the gold is huge because gold is one of our things we're running low on. So now we need to find a spider because we do not have a spider, and that's one of the things I want to have as well, so we can have string production be a thing in case we need it. That's the last big mob I think we need for now. I mean, of course, there's some other ones, but as far as vanilla mobs go, we have all the big ones, besides a slime. A slime would be nice, but we have, again, a vast majority of them, so I'm not going to complain. But I'm going to grab this wood here, which, if you're wondering how I did that, when you have a supercharged tool, you can basically, like, do effects on it. So, like, the axes, it'll chop the whole tree. The tools will do, like, a 3x3 type dealio, so it's very useful. And then look, we want to throw this back into the system. Easy peasy. And this thing literally doesn't require any power. So if you're going to play Feed the Beast and you're not going to use this system early game, you're doing something wrong. Like, honestly, I don't even know if we're going to be using refined storage throughout the series. I mean, it's quite likely we might. And what are these? Ooh, what do you drop? Do you drop anything? What do you drop? Fairy dust. What kind of uses does fairy dust actually have? It's from roots. Okay, well, I don't think we need a fairy dust farm, so I'm not going to pick up one of those. Okay. But yeah, I did. We had a lot of sheep in there. So that was correct, yes. I figured we might need the wool. I mean, as you can tell, we're definitely going to use 10k wool at some point. And look at the other colors as well. So really, it's more... Look at that. That's beautiful, if you ask me. I think that's fantastic. Now, can we find our spider? That's what we're out here for. Okay, here we go. Spider has been done. And also, let's see if we can get this guy's sword. Okay, we're not that lucky, but as you can see, it mended up, which is nice. That's the mending enchantment. It's from vanilla, but basically it's simple. Experience heals up the tools, you know, durability. Just super useful as far as the thing goes. Alright. But that's definitely beautiful, in my opinion. So now we have these down in there, and we're going to throw our fairy dust in there as well. Now, the essence that is generated down here inside of these, essence is also generated inside of these ones over here, if you weren't aware. So these are the ones we use for regular smelting. And then down here is the one we use where JSM setup is also a fancy thing. So yeah, that is definitely a thing that we have. It's quite useful and quite convenient. Speaking of Nether Stars and uses of them, we have these diamond wands, and we use those to build this area. It's just really, they're useful for building because they let you like replicate things a lot faster. But we were kind of baller today, and we got a bunch of Nether Stars. So we are going to use a new type of builder's wand, which is this, the unbreakable wand. Of course I want that. So if you look, I'll show you how this thing works. So basically, let's say we want it to be cobblestone. We go like that, and boom, look at how convenient that is. And then we can even just go like this, and boom, very quickly mine it back up. No problem whatsoever. It's beautiful, and it's just going to come in handy for building on a much larger scale, since we don't have to spend diamonds on it. Speaking of diamonds, I just want to mention the 400 diamonds we have now, just so everybody, you know, is aware of that. And we also have a ton of shulker boxes, which we're not really going to be needing because we have the system here where we can just import from anywhere, but we have it just in case. Also, these ender bags were initially going to be used, but then we had this. So the ender bag, not too useful either. And then I have a waypoint book. So if I want a waypoint, like to build my survival base, you click it and boom, here I am. I'm at his base now. He also has a tree farm down here. A similar design, a little bit different. He used different cables and stuff, but it is a similar system, which is quite cool. So, you know, that works for him. And then if I want to get back to our base, I'm going to do /home to save on resources just because it's expensive. So, yeah. Now, speaking of mending, we did have a mending book from our farm. So I'm actually going to put that onto a tool. See, it does go onto a tool. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that onto our shovel just because why not? So, I mean, that's pretty useful. But there we go. Today was our Nether Star extravaganza. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I know there's a lot of in-between progress, but I'll try to not have to catch you guys up to speed every single episode with so much changes. But a lot of the stuff was just boring trial and error stuff that you guys probably wouldn't want to watch anyway. So if you did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, but I will see you guys in another episode. Thank you so much for watching.